When I first came across Bitcoin, I recognized that it is more than just a novel idea. It was a profound innovation, something with the potential to serve as a lifeline in moments of crisis. But at the time, the world still felt relatively stable. There seemed to be no urgency to advocate for radical alternatives, no real space to challenge the status quo. Most of us, including myself, took comfort in the assumption that responsible leaders and sound institutions were keeping everything in balance. But the cracks are now visible. What is unfolding across the globe today is a harsh reminder of how quickly peace, prosperity, and institutional integrity can erode. The assumptions that we once relied on are being challenged, and the systems we thought were working in our favor are beginning to unravel. And suddenly the idea that we might need a tool like Bitcoin no longer feels theoretical. It feels urgent. This channel has always focused on Bitcoin as fee, BSV, the real Bitcoin. But this discussion goes beyond just digital money. It is about what happens when governments abuse their control over monetary systems and policy to serve their own interests, even when it comes at the expense of their own citizens. In this video, I want to focus on one such policy: tariffs. We will look at how tariffs are being used not as a means of protection, but as a political weapon, fueling inflation, distorting trade, and harming the very people they are supposed to protect. I will then connect these issues to the broader significance of Bitcoin SV and why it offers a meaningful path forward. Let's start with basics. What are tariffs? Tariffs are taxes placed on imported goods. Contrary to what some politicians would have you believe, these taxes are not paid by the exporter, they are paid by the importer. If a business imports a product from overseas, they pay the tariff to their own government, and naturally, they will pass that cost on to their consumers. This fundamental concept has been grossly distorted by the Trump administration and echoed by complicit media and supposed experts who are supposed to know better. The narrative being sold to the American people is that China or any exporting country will bear the cost of US tariffs. That's simply not how it works. In truth, tariffs are a hidden tax on American citizens. Every time you buy a product that's affected by these policies, you are paying for it twice. Once to the manufacturer, the Chinese exporter, and again to your US government. Imagine a car that would normally cost $30,000. If Trump now says that this car will have 100% tariff on it, then the importer, that's the company you're buying the car from, will have to pay $30,000 to the Chinese manufacturer of that car. And 100% of 30,000, which is 30,000, they'll have to pay 30,000 then to the government, the US government. That $60,000 cost is passed on to you, the consumer. And it's likely even higher after the reseller's margin. That's the reality. These tariffs are a tax disguised as nationalism. And it doesn't stop with consumer goods. Tariffs also apply to raw materials and components used by American manufacturers like aluminum. If a company relies on imported aluminum and it's hit with a 25% tariff, their costs increase and the price of their finished products goes up. Not only do Americans pay more, but US manufacturers who want to export these products out will become less competitive because their products are now more expensive. These cascading effects are often ignored in public discussions. Tariffs might sound like a policy aimed at protecting jobs, but in practice, they stifle production, they inflate prices, and they weaken entire industries. Worse still, they disrupt supply chains and discourage international cooperation. all while creating political leverage. Trump's sweeping tariffs affect not only China but many trading partners. And let's be honest, very few things are made entirely in America. Even made in the USA goods often rely on global supply chains. What's the economic consequence? Well, it's tariff-driven inflation. It's reduced product availability. You then can't find some of the products that you might want. And rising costs of living. Now, if you're an American and you believe that these policies will bring back jobs or punish unfair trade practices, I urge you to listen carefully to other perspectives. I don't say this as a partisan critic. I am not an American. I'm not aligned with any US political factions. I don't care about left or right. I don't care about the Democrats or the Republicans. But the economic fallout is undeniable, and it is ordinary Americans who will bear the brunt of these policies. For example, an American farmer, he buys Chinese-made equipment and machinery and vehicles because they're reliable and they cost a lot less when compared to similar US products. This makes his business more efficient, enabling him to grow affordable food for American families. But under current US tariffs, this farmer is now being forced to pay a lot more for the same equipment, machinery, or vehicle, hurting his bottom line and making his produce more expensive. It also hurts the Chinese manufacturer who loses a customer. This is a lose-lose-lose situation. There's fewer tools, there's higher costs, and there's more expensive food. The farmer loses, the Chinese manufacturer loses, and the American consumer loses. So we must ask, what's the real objective here? Who benefits from making everything more expensive? The answer lies in control. Governments maintain control by monopolizing monetary systems. That control allows them to fund wars. It enables coercion and it restricts free trade, not for your benefit, but to preserve political power. And here is the problem. Individuals like you and me, even though I'm not an American, it affects me. We are caught in the middle. Ordinary people, farmers, entrepreneurs, families are burdened by policies that do not reflect their interests. When you restrict access to affordable tools and disrupt international trade, you are not protecting workers. You are punishing productivity. If government interference is ever justified, it should be in response to genuine harm, danger, injury, or deception. But what harm is there in an American farmer who wants to buy, say, a tractor from a willing Chinese manufacturer? What possible justification is there for punishing this voluntary, peaceful exchange? We, the citizens of democratic countries, like to believe that we control the public purse through democracy. We imagine our votes guide national priorities. But the truth is, many of us now feel increasingly disconnected from the decisions made in our name. Trust in institutions is declining, and for good reason. This is why BSV matters. I don't mean to say that with BSV, tariffs all of a sudden disappear, or that they will magically stop. I only mean to question whether tariffs are even needed, enforceable, or relevant in a world using the real Bitcoin's digital cash system. The real Bitcoin, Bitcoin SV, not BTC, empowers individuals to transact freely across borders and without needing approval from gatekeepers. It allows a farmer in the US to send money directly to a manufacturer in China, held in escrow, and it's released only when the product is received. Fair, secure, transparent. This is not theoretical. This is technically possible right now. And yet, adoption is slow. Not because the technology isn't ready, but because entrenched powers fear losing control. They do not want people to realize that better systems already exist. systems that could bypass or at least minimize or counter the effects of bad political posturing. It would help counter inflation, and it would make illegal, unfair restrictions even harder. In a world where governments manipulate markets, weaponize currencies, and distort the truth for their political gain, Bitcoin SV offers something revolutionary: economic freedom, the power to choose who you trade with, how you store your wealth, and what kind of future you want to build. That's not just a technical upgrade, it's a revolution in human empowerment. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these issues, so please post your comments below, but be respectful. If you found this insightful or valuable, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. If you're a business owner or an individual interested in accepting real Bitcoin SV tokens in exchange for your products, goods, or services, visit bsvsearch.com and become part of the BSV economy. This opportunity isn't just for Americans, it's for anyone, anywhere in the world, who believes in open, honest, and efficient trade powered by real digital money. This is Marquez. Cheers. Bye.